Hey, Pastor Josh here. We're reading Exodus chapter 30, verses 1 through 16. We're going to be talking about the sweet hour of prayer. If you remember, Moses has been up on Mount Sinai receiving instructions from the Lord, and in particular, instructions about how to build this great tabernacle. And today, we are looking at the altar of incense, which for us as Christians is really a picture of our prayer time, our interaction with the Lord. We get this from Revelation 5:8, and I'll show that to you in just a moment. But let me show you the picture of the altar. There it is. This right here is that big curtain that divides the Holy of Holies from the holy place. And the Holy of Holies is the Ark of the Covenant with those cherubim over top. And then on the other side of the curtain, right in front of it, is this golden altar of incense. And Aaron, the high priest, is told to offer incense on it in the morning and in the evening. We'll look at that in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to share with you just a sweet hymn that has become special to me. It was introduced to me in my first pastorate when I was a bivocational pastor at Locust Grove Baptist Church. I did not sing this song coming up, but the first time we sang that as a church, I said, "Oh, this is a good one." So let me give you the first verse, especially as we look at the altar of incense. The verse, and look it up, YouTube, if you don't know this. If you don't know this hymn, it's a good one. But sweet hour of prayer, sweet hour of prayer that calls me from a world of care. Oh, if we realize just what that great gift of prayer is, to cast our burdens upon the Lord, and bids me at my Father's throne. Remember how this is a picture here. If this is going to be a picture of God's people's prayer time with the Lord, on the other side is that picture of God's throne. Still that division there because of the curtain, because Christ had not died yet. Of course, we're allowed to go boldly into his throne room now, but right there burning on the other side, at my Father's throne, makes all my wants and wishes known. Just let him know what you want. Expose your heart to him. He knows it already. In seasons of distress and grief, my soul has often found relief. Do you realize just what prayer can can give you? It's a sweet gift. Do not treat it as a chore. It is a sweet gift, and oft escape the tempter's snare by thy return, sweet hour of prayer. Coming back to our prayer times, our quiet times with the Lord is often what keeps us on the straight and narrow path that we so desperately want to be on. Too often we just try to do it all by our own accord. So as we think about this altar of incense in the tabernacle, let's think about our own times of prayer. So let us get into the reading. God tells Moses, "You shall make an altar on which to burn incense. You shall make it of acacia wood. A cubit shall be its length, and a cubit its breadth. It shall be a square." Remember, a cubit is a foot and a half, 1.5 feet. Cubit shall be its length, cubit its breadth. It shall be square, and 2 cubits shall be its height. So you see how it's a square at the top, but then like kind of like a pistol looking thing. Of course, it's going to have handles as well, and it's going to going to have poles by which they can carry it, and we're also going to see the rings are going to be discussed as well. You shall overlay it with pure gold. It's going to have horns too, just like the altar on which sacrifices are going to be given, and those are outside the temple. We've looked at those already. You shall overlay it with pure gold, the good stuff, its top and around its sides and its horns. Notice the altar of incense is overlaid with gold. The altar of sacrifice is of offerings is going to be with bronze. So you got the special precious stuff close, and then the sacrifice is being overlaid with bronze. And you shall make a molding of gold around it. You shall take 2 golden rings for it under its molding. On 2 opposite sides of it you shall make them, and they shall be holders for poles with which to carry it. Again, always remember that the extreme detail that we have allows smart people to be able to give you pictures, to give me pictures, to be able to visualize it, because the detail is so precise in Exodus. You shall make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold, and you shall put it in front of the veil that is above the ark of the testimony. A good command for us to follow. This is how we connect with the Lord in this way on this side of Jesus' return and the great consummation of all things. We engage Him through prayer, and so this altar of incense is in front of the veil, but it's right in front of the ark of the covenant, the ark of the testimony, in front of the mercy seat, the throne room of God, the picture of God's throne that is above the testimony, where I will meet with you. So this is that special place where God is meeting with His people. They're offering they're offering their prayers and their incense up to Him. And Aaron shall burn fragrant incense on it. Notice our prayers, or this incense is supposed to be sweet. It's fragrant. It's good smelling. Our prayers should be good smelling. It should be a great joy to us to come into the Lord's presence and pray. Notice how often Aaron is supposed to do it. Every morning when he dresses the lamps, when he gets that menorah going and lights lights those, or adds more oil to make sure that the menorah is burning. And when Aaron sets up the lamps at twilight, he shall burn it, a regular incense offering before the Lord throughout your generation. So he's supposed to do it every morning, every evening as he dresses those lights to make sure that candle is going, because you don't got lights in the temple. Remember, this is pre-electricity. They don't have anything to see by. So the priests are making sure the lights are going, and then every time they do that in the morning and the evening, they're supposed to offer this incense unto the Lord. Again, what a great pattern for us. A lot of times people will argue, and I say that gently. They don't really argue, but there's a great discussion on if you're a morning person, evening person, when should you do your quiet times? When should you pray to the Lord, in the morning or the evening? Well, it almost seems like the good pattern would be to do it in the morning and the evening, to have some sort of sweet hour of prayer. Maybe not an exact hour, but have a time set aside to worship the Lord through prayer. Now, why am I saying that the altar of incense is a good representation, a good symbol of our prayer time? Well, in Revelation 5:8, particularly the beginning part of Revelation, when John is taken up into heaven, he sees the heavenly throne room. And remember, I've told you that the temple is a picture of heaven. And so here we see a description of what this incense was. If you go back up here, you see that they have they're holding the incense right here and then putting it on there. So there will be bowls or some sort that they would bring to the altar. And so we see Revelation 5:8 that Jesus has come in. He's taken the scroll from the one who holds it on the throne. Revelations 5:8. So Jesus has come. He took the scroll, the four living creatures, and the four living creatures being the picture of those cherubim. Remember what was on the curtain in the tabernacle, what was embroidered on the curtains. Cherubim, right? And so these great guardian angels. So again, pictures of that. Picture of what is in reality. So these four living creatures worship the Lord, and then the 24 elders being representative of God's people, taking the 12 of the tribes of Israel and the 12 apostles, the 12 disciples, putting them together. These are God's people from all times, Old Covenant, New Covenant, all together. They fall down before the Lamb, before Jesus Christ. And here's the point I'm trying to get to: each holding a harp of praise to the Lord, and golden bowls full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints. So these incense that's being offered to the Lord is a good symbol of God's people praying to it. Notice God tells Moses, you shall not offer unauthorized incense on it. We're going to see what the incense is supposed to be made of in our next reading. You don't offer a burnt offering. You don't offer a grain offering. You shall not pour a drink offering on it. No, it is a sweet smelling aroma. You don't get the bloody stuff on there. This is the good fellowship. And that's why our prayer with the Lord is supposed to be so sweet and so good. Aaron shall make atonement on its horns once a year. Just a casual reference to the Day of Atonement, which we will see in the book of Leviticus when we read that. But every year, this altar is going to be purified. With the blood of the sin offering of atonement, he shall make atonement for it once in the year throughout your generations. It is most holy to the Lord. This incense altar is the connection from the holy place to the most holy place. Now let's look at a census tax that's going to be taken from the people to get the temple going. The Lord said to Moses, when you take the census of the people of Israel, then each shall give a ransom for his life to the Lord when you number them, that there may be no plague among them when you number them. Each one who is numbered in the census shall give this half a shekel, according to the shekel of the sanctuary. The shekel is 20 gerahs. That would be $10. And so the gerah is a Babylonian measurement. And so you can see this is in parentheses. So this was added, or probably, I don't want to get into that too much, but more than likely this was kind of clarifying for people later on, hey, this is how much the shekel is worth. And then I put in my own little inserts to let you know it's about $10. So half a shekel as an offering to the Lord. Everyone who is numbered in the census from 20 years old and upward shall give the Lord's offering. We're going to count everybody. Everybody's going to give a representation of their life to the temple to make sure that it is taken care of and that it is that it is restored in the way that it should be. And notice here, verse 15, the rich shall not give more and the poor shall not give less. Why? Because it is $10. Most of the time it is a percentage wise. And so you're giving the same amount. Why? Because it is considered atonement money. It is a representation of the person to say, hey, this is from me to you. So we all are big on this, right? Everybody is equal. Everybody is worth the same. So $10. You don't say the rich give more because they're worth more. No. They might have more money, but they're not worth more. They are the same. So $10 given for the temple. So that is the half shekel. When you give the Lord's offering to make atonement for your lives, you shall take the atonement money from the people of Israel and shall give it for the service of the tent of meeting, that it may bring the people of Israel to remembrance before the Lord, so as to make atonement for your lives. I pray that has been a blessing to you. Oh, go enjoy that sweet hour of prayer today, and I'll see you all in the next video.